Hello, and welcome to Find It on this Wednesday evening. I am your host, Debbie Bettendorf, but it's not about me. It is about our amazing girl boss guest, and her name is Jennifer Gitomer, and she is an author, and she's also the founder of Sales in a New York Minute. We're going to hear all about that. And she has been quoted to say, "Can't business and making money just be easy?" And then she found out a way how to do that. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. We're going to show video of Jen, and she will be right back with us.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Here she is, Jen. Big Sales Energy is in the house. We're going to find out how and all these fun things. But before we get started, I wanted to talk about how you and I, this show's called Find It. How did we find one another? Do you remember?
Through Steve.
Ask, and here he is, the almighty.
That was magic.
You brought me on faster than I thought. That's amazing.
He wasn't back there like.
That was amazing. I thought I could see who's in the green room, and you can't as a guest.
Yeah, as a guest, it was sneaky.
I'm just popping on just to say I love you. I hope you two have a great show, and I know you will. And I'm going to ask you now, because I know Debbie's going to, if you could pop in on our show tomorrow night, that would be great.
Oh, it would be my pleasure.
So it'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern time. You know what time it is. I'll have Bruce send you the link, but that's good.
Don't leave yet.
Oh, Steve, you're looking great. It's so good to see you.
Thanks. I feel great. I really do. It's good to see you too. I was just talking to Jeffrey today he was in Paris. Mm-hmm. You know, he connects with me all the time. So we're FaceTiming him. He was showing me this beautiful cafe that he was at. And I was so jealous. So I said, the next time you go to Paris, I said, even if you're going with Jennifer, you guys better invite me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Patty, we want to go too.
We're going to have a lofted bed and Steve's in our room.
Yeah. Like, hey, Steve.
Maybe you would like another espresso. Yes, maybe no.
He's your own barista with you in Paris. So listen, I wanted to say this though, because Steve and I had been talking about working on a project. And when he said to me, I know who needs to be involved. She is amazing. You're going to love her. And then you and I connected on the phone, and it was just like, I talked to a girlfriend, hey, it's like, I felt like I knew you forever. Then we Zoomed with Steve a few times. And so I'm really excited that you're here, and I'm glad. Steve, thank you so much for introducing.
You're very welcome
to me. So,
and you know, just to add before I leave, just to add to what you were saying, I was just watching a clip from Jordan Peterson, and he was just talking about serendipity, and there really are no coincidences, and people come into your lives and introduce one another to each other for a reason, and you just exemplified that. So there's a reason for everything. So. And Jennifer and I have talked about getting on a project together, which we're going to do eventually. I know timing is everything. And you and I did this, and you're a part of the show that we do together. And it's great when life works that way. Anyway, both of you have a great show. I love you both. And Jennifer, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on the show.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. That was so sweet.
Thank you so much. We're all here. It's the Four Squares. Okay, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you.
Take care. Enjoy yourself.
Awesome. Okay, so we're back to Jen. Do you like to be called Jen? Yeah, because it's Jen, Big Sales Energy right there. Jen. So I am obsessed with like your philosophy. I've been reading a lot about you, but before we start about that, can you get your book off of the shelf? Sure. I'm going to show this. Yes, please. So here it is, Sales in a New York Minute. And it's with your maiden name. You're now married, or did you write this when you were married and you just wanted to use your maiden name?
When it was published, I was not yet married.
Gotcha. I want you to show everyone the inside of this book, which I'm going to be getting soon. It's set up in a way where it's such an easy read to guide you through selling, right?
Oh yeah.
Being
So
go ahead.
I'm trying to like flip through. I'm not doing a great
That
job.
one says, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Be the helper and the help your customers are hoping for. And then it goes on to explain what she means by that. And then it's broken up into really awesome categories to where you can say, okay, here's the topic. Here's what it is. It's just good. I think I'm excited to read it. We all can use a little extra on sales and different tips like that. But there's something, okay, I don't know where to start. I'm so excited because there is something I found that you had said, here I am in this year, and here I am right now. And do we want to start with that? I think we do. I'm going to show you guys this because then it will go back to how you got to this point. So
okay, let's do it.
Let's do this, guys. Okay. Here is 2013 Jen and 2023 Jen. And she says both versions of me are works in progress. But the woman on the right is fueled by passion, purpose, and a strong mindset. Here's the biggest secret to my success. It's not just about having the right business strategy. It's also about doing the inner work. That's why I help my clients work through their old stories, rewrite their narratives, and take strategic action to achieve their goals. Okay, so that's a mouthful right in itself, but I have chills because that is a big difference. I mean, not the way you look necessarily. I mean, you're a little more glammed up now. But it's also about, it really spoke to me when I read that post. I want you to explain to me, you then, you now, and how you can help all of us make that shift.
Yeah. So we don't often look back at who we were 10 years ago. And I was sorting through photos and came across this picture of me when I had started my business. And obviously it's not a great picture, so it like helps tell the story, but it really does exemplify who I was. I was afraid. I was living in fear of not being successful. I was saying yes to every client that was coming my way, even if I thought they were going to be just a total pain. I was going out every single night, drinking a little too much, partying a little too much, and then getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be at the gym to stay fit, and really burning the candle at both ends. And I just wasn't taking care of myself or focusing on myself really at all. I wanted to be successful and I wanted to have a lot of fun, and I still want those things. But by my definition of what those mean, what that means and what those are today is very different, right? Like if I have a drink at night, I'm not getting drunk. I'm having a glass of wine to enjoy it, which is like just so different than 10 years ago, Jen. Mm-hmm. And because I want to wake up sober, I want to wake up rip roaring ready to go. And I don't take on every client. If a client's not a good fit for me, if I feel like they're going to be a pain, like I tell them I'm not the best coach for them. And I'm very honest because I'm not living in fear. I'm living in more of a warrior mindset, more of a abundance mindset. And so there's just been a huge change over 10 years. And it's really due to a lot of self-growth, personal development work, and just,
and self-awareness. Yes. It's like you must have gotten to a point where you're like, okay, enough's enough. I'm burning the candle at both ends. I like to have fun, but I also like to wake up and get my day started with the workout ticket. So can you remember a time where it really clicked in your mind? Like, okay, I don't like the way, give me an example of what happened and how you then took that thought and then put action behind it and changed your life.
Yeah, there was a moment where it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and I had been up all day and I was working all night. And I was just doing everything. I was no longer in my drinking, partying phase,
Yeah.
but I was now like, go get them, Jen. I'm going to, make tons of money and do whatever it takes. And I thought I had to do it all. And I was still burning out my body. And I decided at that moment, like, I've been up for almost 24 hours. Like, this is crazy. This is not healthy. This is not sustainable. And I'm not doing my best work at my 23rd hour of the day. Like, let's be real here, okay? I am not Superwoman. And nor do I need to be, right? I'm human and I'm good with that.
Mhm.
And so I decided to reach out and get help. I decided to hire and delegate and outsource and bring in help. And the next morning, and I hired overnight, I found this amazing woman in the Philippines, and she had a whole team. And the next morning I went into the office and I realized that everyone was following my lead. So everyone was overworking. Everyone was cut, the leader really sets the tone. And I was like, okay, guys, I have a big announcement. They're like, oh boy, what do we have to do now? They're like, you get a VA and you get a VA. And they're like, are you firing us? I'm like, no, I'm giving you help.
Everyone gets a virtual assistant. Do you obviously still do VAs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do a lot of work with virtual assistants. And so it was just like, that was a big beginning of my mindset shift around not needing to do it all and what success really means, like redefining success and redefining what I wanted from life.
That's powerful. What is success to you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Can
Bryn
you-
Tillman. Hello, Bryn Tillman. I love Bryn Tillman.
What is success to you, Jen?
Oh, you're asking me what is, sorry.
Yeah.
You're like having everyone contemplate, like, what is success to you? No. So
and then we're back. You're like, hey,
okay, I got it. I was
let's
distracted.
go
I was so
to
excited
Tucker.
that Bryn was here. Okay. And hi to everyone else too. Bob, Eric. Hey guys. So success to me is a combination of time and financial freedom. So I run a tennis team now. I'm the captain. I started a team at the beach. It means the world to me. 15 women who are around my age, and we all have a passion for tennis. And our season is August through May. So it's a pretty long season. And every single Tuesday, except for maybe 3 or 4 Tuesdays from that entire time span, we have a match. And every Thursday we have practice, and we get together around once a week and hang out. And it just it's changed my life. And if I had a 9-to-5 or was the type of entrepreneur who felt like I could only be successful if I was at my desk, the whole working day, I wouldn't have that part of my life. And, our matches are from 9 to 11 on Tuesday mornings. Clinic is from 11 to 12:30. Like, these are smack in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And it really shifted my mindset to realize, like, I can be successful and what that means to me is doing what I want when I want, because I can, and because I can still serve my customers and clients to the fullest degree. Right. So that may mean that I'm not having a live show with you at noon on Tuesdays because I'm still sweaty. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, I have not missed out on a big event because of it. In fact, it's fueled me to get much more efficient and effective with what I do when I'm at my desk and when I'm at the screen. And it's fueled me to really create boundaries so that I have these hobbies and passions outside of work as well. And so to me, it's being, success is really being multifaceted and being able to invest that time into what I enjoy doing.
I love that. And the boundary part, too, which is sometimes we have to create boundaries for our own self. Like we want to do something, you want to be successful, but it sounds like to me, you're finding success financially and in your business life, but you're also finding success in wonderful, nurturing friendships, staying active, playing tennis. And I feel like I'm getting there. I also, it's not tunnel vision on ultimate goals and everything has to be done this way. It's more of going with the flow and finding what brings us joy and knowing the difference. I mean, because if you make a ton of money, but you're miserable in an office all day and you're grinding and you're up 18 hours, working all through the evening or whatever, what kind of quality of life is that? So that's where, but see what you did, a lot of is you took what you were feeling and changed it. So, a lot of us don't, it's like, well, this is the way my parents did it. This is the way I'm going to do it. This is the way I was raised. I have a good work ethic. But what do you say to people who say, oh, well, I can't leave in the middle of the day and go meet my friends and play tennis?
Why can't you? Like, why not?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Is your business going to burn down? Are your sales going to stop? And I'm not saying go play hooky from your job for 4 hours in the middle of the day. But what I am saying is figure out a way you can get your work done and live your life, because the reality is life is short. Every single person knows someone who has passed away. Yeah. Every single person knows someone who's no longer here on this planet. We have a limited amount of time on this planet. You got to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You got to live the life that you want to live. You got to live without regret. You get to wake up every day and do something you love. And if you don't love what you're doing or who you're doing it with, you got to change that.
Something else that you did, and this is part of who you are in your job, but you have retreats.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that and when you started doing it and why and what it entails?
Yeah. So I had a big personal reset to my nervous system a couple of years ago. We bought a place at the beach, and just being on the water, I always associated, I don't know if you've done this, but I've always associated being at the beach as being on vacation, because I never really went to the beach if it wasn't for vacation. By the way, I associated that with tennis too. I only used to play tennis when we were on vacation. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, why is this like a 15-day a year thing? Why can't I do this every day? Right? This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so just the act of playing tennis in the morning sets me into this zone of oh, you're on vacation. Even though
you get the feel
while you're on vacation.
Yeah. I love it.
So I had this personal reset. I started spending a lot of time at the beach and breathing and taking in nature. And this all sounds so corny and so woo. And
I love this.
And it just calmed my body down. It calmed my nervous system. I had grown up mostly in New York or the New York area, and everything is very vibrating times 10, and it's so fast, and it just, everything for me slowed down where I could hear myself think. And I realized that women, when you're taking care of the household, oftentimes taking care of children, taking care of your business and your family, and lastly, taking care of yourself, need a couple days away to reset, to pause and reset. And so that's why I created these retreats. I've actually renamed it to Reset. But I created these retreats so that women can get away, they can reset, they can get back to themselves, they can hear themselves think again, and then they can go back and hit the ground running. Because when you fire up, it's like putting gas in your car, then you can go, right? But if your gas tank is depleted, your car's a brick, you're not going anywhere. And we often allow ourselves as human beings to get depleted. And I don't want that for anyone. I really want everyone to be able to fill their tank. And so these retreats allow women time to get away from the hustle bustle, get away from the responsibilities, everything is taken care of. You're fed, you're housed, all the things. Yes, Kelly, exactly. I do them mostly in Sedona because of the energy in Sedona. It's magical.
I was thinking
And
that.
the next one, by the way, I have not announced this. So like your people are getting special information. The next one is at the end of October. So if you are interested, let me know, because I know when I like fully announce it, the spot, it's limited. The spots will go quickly, but if you are interested, let me know.
So the last one that you did, well, I don't know if it was the last one that you had gone on, that you had hosted and did. I saw pictures of you in Sedona at the beautiful home. And then you guys did like lots of activities, right? Together.
Oh,
yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do when you're there?
So one of the biggest thing is breath work. Everyone starts out with breath work. If you've done breath work, that's awesome. This is probably like breath work you've never done before. It is more intense because of the energy in Sedona. The container, the space that it's in is just magical. The women were like, that was not breath work. What was that? I'm like, no, that was, I promise that was breath work.
So do you lead the breath work?
No, I bring in someone who is just amazing.
Okay.
And one of the ladies renamed it. She said it's from now on it's called a spiritual orgasm, because
I love it.
That was so powerful.
So everyone's like right now going, sign me up.
Yeah, let me in.
Please.
So,
I want to go.
It is like, once you can allow your nervous system to just calm down like that, then you can take everything else in. So that's why I start with the breath work and start with this whole ceremonial part to it. And then there's different activities. So based on the group, I put together different activities. One activity I've done in the past is I bring in a practitioner who helps you open up your voice and use your voice authentically in your business. A lot of women, it's a known fact, like push down their voice and don't use it to their full potential. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure men do this too, but the retreat's for women. So
yeah,
it's
a girls club at the retreat.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a voice activating session, which is really cool. We actually had one of the attendees last time host Qigong, and that was amazing, and like really got everyone into movement. So there's a lot of movement. We go on hikes. And everyone has their own expectations and limitations with hikes. You know, we had someone on the last retreat who had vertigo. Oh. And she was like, I might not get to the top. Thanks, Eric. I might not get to the top, but I'm going to try. And I was like, look, like, let's just take one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. You can do this. And we stopped a bunch of the time along the way. But guess what? She made it to the top.
Oh, how amazing and invigorating that must have been for her to have achieved that and to say, I did it.
Right.
That's incredible on its own. And for all the other people who are on that journey with her, they're doing it too, but then they have an appreciation for seeing someone conquer something that they didn't think that they could do. That's cool too.
Yeah, exactly. So I've really been fortunate to cultivate a lot of friends in Sedona who are just amazing practitioners, and all have different unique skills and abilities that help activate different parts of our human beings and of our being. And then we do business sessions, right? Where you have a hot seat and you get to ask questions and create a plan to move forward. So everyone leaves with a really great business plan. But I don't think that you can come up with that kind of plan if you're caught in your day-to-day. There is something about stepping away, seeing what you're doing as an outsider, and I do this for myself almost every quarter. I go to a spa, or I go somewhere to just be by myself and to journal and to think about, like, how are the last 90 days? What did that look like? What do I want to keep? What do I want to change? And you can ask yourself that too, right? But I'm very practiced in it. And so it's much easier when someone is helping guide you through that.
That's true. Oh, that's so good because, and you know, just like working out or eating healthy or whatever, you make that part of that's your every 90 days. And it is a practice. That's not something you'd have to schedule that in and say, no, I'm going to do this to reflect on how the last 90 days have been. Where can I change it to make it more beneficial in my life? And I want to say this too. At the beginning of this, you said, life's short. Life is short, and we all know someone who's either sick or who has passed or whatever. And when you really remind yourself of that, it puts a different perspective and a different spin on what you're going to do. And I love that you say that. And the other thing is, I wanted to ask you, on the retreat, do you do the ice plunging, the ice baths ever, or no?
So I took people to cold plunge in the actual like water there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was cold. It wasn't as cold as a tub that's like set to 38 degrees or whatever, but it was really cold, and it was most people's first time. And the next day they were like, can we do that again? Can we do it again? Like, sure, let's go. Because it's so invigorating and so energizing.
And when I watch you guys have to follow her Instagram. You see it on the bottom. You guys have to follow her. But like there for a long time, I was watching you, I think daily, get into a tub of the ice. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I have never tried it. I've never tried it.
Oh my goodness. We are going on a girl date, and we are going to a cold plunge.
Okay. I'm in, because I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie, because even me thinking I'm going to turn my shower down, this is really good for your hair and skin to have like a cold shower. I'm such a big baby. I'm like, and the one time that I tried it, I'm like, Jen gets in a tub of ice, literally. And I can't even have a cold shower. Like, what a big baby. But I would do it.
I'll tell you the secret. So this is the secret, not just to cold plunging, but this is the secret to life, is managing your breath. And it sounds so simple, but most people, when they get in the cold plunge, it's cold and it's almost traumatic.
Ooh.
And they do what you would do in a traumatizing situation, which is hold your breath.
Yeah.
And that is the exact opposite of what you want to do. So if there's any difficult situation, if you're not getting the sale that you want, or you're caught up in a fight with your spouse or your significant other, or whatever it may be that's like tense, check your breath. Because if it's high and tight, you're in flight. And if it's low and slow, you're in flow. And so when you get in that cold plunge, it's a really good practice. Talk about putting in the reps. It's a really good practice to focus on your breath, because the minute you calm down your breath, everything is so easy in there. I could stay in there for 30 minutes. I mean, like, you get the benefits after too. So like, you know, I stay in 2, 10, 15 minutes and then I'm out. But what most first timers do is they hold their breath, and that makes it so much harder. And that's why they can only stay in for 2 minutes, because how long can you really like hold your breath for, right? And so when you begin to breathe through it, like you could breathe through any difficult situation, it trains you. Like I have a friend, and she was at my place. She was helping me with social media. She was at my place during a big storm. And she said, Jen, 6 months ago, I never would have been here today if it was storming. I would have canceled on you. I'm like, why? And she was like, I would be too afraid to drive in the rain. And I was like, oh, well, what changed? And she said, well, I've been doing the cold plunge. And I knew that I could calm my anxiety down
by breath work.
So I joke about it, that it's the secret to life, because without breath, you get it, right?
Exactly.
But it's the truth. Like it really is the truth. And any kid with anxiety, you teach them how to breathe, you will help them tremendously.
That's amazing. And I was laughing, not only because I visualized myself getting the cold ice, but the breath. Okay, so I box. I go to this boxing class and it's intense and it's a good, really good workout. But and especially when I first started several years ago, I would be holding my breath while I was, and I'd be like, and then you would hear the trainer say, don't forget to breathe. And I'm like, it sounds like such a stupid thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm holding my breath, And so it is like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Maybe boxing is traumatizing. I'm like, I have a love-hate relationship
it's
with
our
it.
natural instinct. I was in Australia in 2006 and I decided to go skydiving, and crazy. And the first chute didn't pop. And so I was tandem. And so I was on, on a guy's back essentially. And he used the emergency chute, and which worked. Thank God I'm here to tell the story.
Yeah, right.
And the emergency chute worked, but they hadn't checked it properly. So it was all tangled. So I could feel us, and you could see it on the video, but I could feel us in the air, and he's trying to like untangle us so we get out of the chute so that it can like pop open. And we get down there, and on video, okay, this is 2006, on video, I'm like, I thought I was going to die. I stopped breathing. I held my breath. I wasn't going to breathe until we landed. And like, I'm talking. It's so funny to see that version of me, because I had no idea that was the exact opposite of what to do.
How did you learn all of this? Has this been your decade long or longer than a decade journey of figuring things out?
Over the past 10 years, I've become more spiritual, more just awakened in these kinds of tools, and have taken lots of courses and certifications on coaching and breath work and different modalities so that I could help my clients. And in turn, even though I was doing it for them, it really has helped me. It's helped me calm down. It's helped me find peace within myself, just a lot of things.
What has changed in you as far as, do you get feedback from other people that have known you your whole life that I'm not a different person, but I mean, are you more calm? Are you able to handle situations without so much press?
Yeah, I'm way more patient and more grounded. Like, for lack of a better word, I'm very it takes a lot to piss me off, right? I was very easily pissed off before.
Okay.
But it takes a lot to really like have me lose it. And because I'm breathing, and I'm like I can make jokes about it, and I can find the humor in it. I know Steve talks about that a lot, but you can only do that when you're grounded, because if you're getting lost in the moment and you're trauma bonding with whatever the situation is, or the client or whatever, it's very hard to help yourself out of it or to get out of it. And so I have noticed, for me personally, I am just more calm through difficult situations. And who doesn't need that? Like, what a blessing.
Right. So take me through, how did you get from where you were very easily pissed off, high-paced New Yorker to grounded Jen, who it takes a lot to piss her off? And oh, by the way, is anyone else like really concentrating on their breath right now? I keep taking these nice inhaling breaths. Now that you brought that up, it just feels so good.
Just take a deep breath, guys. And
I'm like, oh, I can breathe. It feels so good right now. Everyone take a deep inhaling breath through your nose and out through your mouth.
That's right.
Okay,
That
so
right.
what would a Jen's grounding typical day look like?
So
I mean, I know Tuesdays and Thursdays it's tennis, but what else?
The biggest difference for me was I noticed that when I was at the beach, I was really calm. And then when I would go back to Charlotte, I was like frantic. And I didn't know what was like going on. And I started to notice just how I felt differently. Like, you should feel, or not should, I don't like that word, but you get to feel like you're on vacation every day. When you wake up, you get to feel like you woke up in vacation land. And part of it is a choice. And part of it is how you're grounding yourself. And oh, hi, Leah. Thank you. That's
Leah.
awesome.
So yeah, Debbie, please tell Jen, and you're telling her right now that you attended one of Jeff's conferences in the early 2000s and have read every book of his and following Jen now. Thank you for that, Leah. So for our audience who may not know, you're married to Jeff Gitomer, who is a New York Times best-selling author. How many times over, Jen? I don't know.
A lot.
A lot of times. This is him and her. They also have a podcast together.
Mhm.
And I want to talk about that a little bit in
Yeah.
a minute, but I want to go back to having everyone make a choice to feel like you're on vacation every day. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying? Come
So
on.
wake up and you get to choose what the morning's going to look like. And I'm in the habit now of waking up and thanking God. And if you don't believe in God, do your own thing. But like, this is my thing, right?
Me
And
too.
just being grateful for giving me another day. And what do I get to make of today? And when you ask yourself that question, like, what do you get to make of today? What can you achieve today? How can you make it fun? How can you enjoy the day? It really brings on a whole new perspective, because you think about actually capitalizing on the day you've been given versus just like going through the motions and spending it. It's more about how do you want to invest it versus
You're getting me
spending it.
all excited. Like I am, you're pumping me up. I do, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to wake up in the morning. And but I do anyway, but it's always a nice reminder, because we're human. There's days where you're sluggish and you're like, oh, I gotta do this. But you know what? We get to. That was the key word.
Mhm.
Not should. You said I don't like should. We get to wake up. We get to do these things. And we also get to choose how we perceive our day. And I love it. So when you get grounded, is it the taking the shoes off, walking across the earth, or what practices do you do each day? I'm
Yeah.
going
So
to
what
copy
I
you.
realized being at the beach, I have one of my dogs is obsessed with going on the sand.
Aw.
And if I don't go the beach path in the morning, she'll hold it in. And I'm like, you gotta go, girl, let's go. And then I started to realize she wanted to go on the beach. And it was grounding me, because when your feet touch the ground, it has that effect. And so it's so simple, but in Charlotte or anywhere else I was being, I wasn't going barefoot anywhere, right? I was already in shoes. I was not connecting to the earth in any sort of way. And so that in itself, just setting the tone, just sets the tone for your day. I also do meditations and visualizations. I do my own set of breath work. I have a breath work I lead people through. I'll find the link and I'll post it in the comments so people can come back and
Nice. I love
grab it
that.
if
I
you
will
want it.
totally do it. I will
Yeah.
totally do it.
And it's a centering breath work. And so I just take mindful moments throughout the day too. Like if I ever feel like I'm getting worked up over something, or I need to make a big decision, I make sure that I'm in a place of that, like a good place to do that. But I want to go back to something you called me out on in a really good way. You said it's get to instead of should. So one of the certifications I took was all about language and the words that we say, and how the stories that we tell ourselves create the actions that we take and the results that you make. And those stories are so deep and really play over and over in our heads, but not just the stories, the specific words. So words like should, have to, must, those are all pressure language words. And now that you've heard them, you'll catch yourself tomorrow when you're like, I should do this, or I should go grocery shopping. I should do this. And like, there was a moment where I had on my to-do list, which I've now renamed get to-do list. Cause
I'm loving this.
Yes. There was a moment where I had something like have to call AT&T, and I was all annoyed because it's like, you're gonna have to stay on hold.
Ew,
and then it's annoying, right? And I said, wait a minute. This is not a good way to approach it. I get to call AT&T. I have a phone bill that I'm very fortunate to pay for.
Well,
I have a phone that I get to use that allows me to connect with people all over the world. I get to call AT&T. Some people don't get to call AT&T.
Well, that's true.
Right? And so it just like that little mindset shift, I was like, okay, I'll do it now, right? Like I'll get it done. And it just made it a little bit slightly more enjoyable. And I think when we approach things from that more positive side, we get better results. In fact, I know.
You do know. And that is pressure words like should, have to, all of those things that you just said. It's amazing. And thank you for the reminder, because I do say, I need to, I have to, I
Mhm.
should do, and I get to. So thanks for that. And also AT&T, if you're listening, here's your next ad. By Jen, Big Sales Energy. She's really pumped and excited to call AT&T because she gets to do that.
That's right.
But yeah, so I love that. And it is, and it's not woo. So anyone listening, try it. Try to change your language. Try to take your shoes off. And where I'm from, Jen, shoes are optional. So it's fine. I mean, I can get grounded anywhere I want. No one would look at me odd. We're good. But I just think that it's important to remember that if you're poo-pooing on someone's idea of how to, I mean, look at you and look at all of your accomplishments. That didn't just happen like by luck. You've put the work and the time, the energy into this, and to get certified and to learn and to continue to grow as a person. And 10 years ago, the person sitting here before you today is more patient and appreciates every day. So why not? I don't know. I'm going to imitate some of your ways. I want to be more calm, and
you.
I'm very high strung. I do breath work, meditation, prayer, and all of that. And it has helped me tremendously.
Yes.
But I'm on the beginning of that journey. So I think you're more seasoned at it than me, maybe. But I love to learn from you, and that's amazing. And I do follow you already. And so that's a gift.
Well,
but let's talk about this. How long have you been doing this podcast? How can people follow this podcast?
We are on all the podcast networks. It's called Sell or Die. Okay. And I stopped shooting on myself some time ago. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all over wherever you get your podcasts, and it's a lot of fun. We go back and forth, and we bring on some cool guests, and we just have a lot of fun, bringing sales.
So yeah, so it's about sales mostly, but you guys probably get off onto different things too, about husband and wife stuff and different views on how you sell.
We do. We went off on a big tangent this week that I think I'm having them cut. And I don't like, by the way, words like think, I guess, maybe, words like that.
Yeah.
Are also words I try to avoid, because they put a lot of doubt in your buyer, audience, or friend, or whoever you're talking to's mind, right? They're not
power words.
No, they're really soft talk. And so that's why I say, like, the words that you use are so powerful. And I corrected myself before when I said I think, and then I said no, I know.
Yeah, you did.
Because I know. Yeah. And just, I want you to pay attention to your words and catch yourself tomorrow when you say, I think this, or I think that. And there's often times where you do want to soften something on purpose. And I'll add that into a sales page or some language intentionally. But it's when we use it unintentionally and don't realize we're using words like I guess, or maybe, or sort of, or I think. And they just weaken everything you're saying. So, but yeah, sorry, back to the, I got on a tangent because I heard myself.
I love that, because let's just say this too, for even like, I feel like this should be a class in high school. Mm-hmm. So at a very young age, you're more aware of the language that you use and how it affects you, but also others' perception of you. If you're using words that are soft, and it makes others, you can come across maybe like you're insecure or not confident. And, I think maybe, I don't know, all of these things, it just, at a young age, I would to see that in class, not just grammar, but how you use these words and how it affects you and others around you.
Right. And so I teach sales. And so, like, in a sales perspective, you're going in, you're talking to your potential client, and your potential client says, so what should we do? And you're like, well, I think you've lost it. Like, no, you don't think, be confident. Here's what they should do. They're asking you. Here's how you're going to get the best results. Just take those words out. And if you catch yourself, correct yourself.
There you go.
And you're right. If it was taught to young kids, oh, how powerful would that be?
Wow. I mean, just the things like yoga, meditation, stretching, grounding, all of the things that I'm now learning as a
Right.
grown adult,
Right.
well grown adult, that I think, gosh, how powerful
Oh,
and how
cold plunging is so
commanding.
next. I'm so excited for you.
Oh, how commanding could we be if we, and teach our young people these things? Like, that's
Yes.
amazing. And,
Yes.
when you were talking about the words that we use, I immediately then thought about what I always preach about. We smack talk ourselves all the time, and we need to knock that off too. Like saying negative things to ourselves that then if you spoke those words to other people, no one would like you. So don't talk like that to yourself,
Right.
But,
Right. Be your own best friend.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Be your own best friend.
Yeah.
Hey, bestie. Look in the mirror. Hey, bestie. So, yeah. So when did you start the podcast with your husband?
Oh, about maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
That's awesome, Leah. Leah's just saying that
I took just.
Yeah. So she's going to just, instead of saying just follow up, she's going to say, I'm following up. Yes, you are, girlfriend. And you know what? I know I keep interrupting you. Bob Donnell had written something early in the podcast, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but it was about something he did in 2006. I decided and write down how I wanted to live my life and then built my business around it rather than living my life around my business. Bob, I don't know if you're still here, but I think that is an incredible thing that you did. And I heard something that Bob said recently too, that talked about he always hangs around and tries to help people until how did he word it? I hope he's still here. He said, if his effect on people is less than the way they infect him, then that's when the boundary is set and he steps away. Because, you protect yourself and you have to create boundaries to the people who you try to help and it's not helping, but they're getting in you. So I thought that was pretty powerful too. So thanks, Bob, for being here and piping in with us. So the podcast is fairly new for you and Jeffrey, or no?
It's a couple years old. We've been doing it a while.
Okay.
Yeah. We have over 3 million downloads, and
you guys are a power couple.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
That's amazing. And you live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, I spend most of my time now outside of Charleston at the beach.
Yes, good girl.
Yeah, just because I'm very grounded there.
Yeah, because I think last time we talked, you were selling your home in North Carolina and in Charlotte.
Yes, it's for sale still.
Oh, is it for sale? Okay, there you go. There's a house for sale in North Carolina if you want to go to Charlotte. But are you also going to have another place in Charlotte, but then mostly spend your time at the beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. Okay, so Eric, what did Eric say, Lynn? Sammy Hager quote, stop looking out, start looking in, be your own best friend. 1988, Van Halen, mine on mine. Oh, Eric, thank you for saying that. So I guess as much as I'd like to keep you on here for like another hour because you are freaking amazing.
This is so much fun.
I know. I love this. But here's the thing. I want to ask a question of you that I ask everyone. But before I do that, I want to know, is there something you want to leave and tell this audience before we go? Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
There's something that keeps coming to mind. And so that tells me in my gut that someone needs to hear it. And that is that we often have this voice in our head that says, what if? And it's usually the bad stuff. What if it fails? What if no one buys? What if whatever, right? And it's negative. Take 5 minutes tonight to write down what if the good stuff. What if I'm the biggest success on the planet? What if I have the best life ever? What if I go on the coolest vacation? What if I have the most romantic relationship? And just write down what if and challenge yourself to get to 20 what ifs for the good stuff. And then that will shift your attention to finding those what ifs instead of where it may be focused, which is what if the bad stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Nick Ogilvy. He's amazing too. Do you
Hi,
know
Nick.
Nick? Oh,
I
he's
don't
great.
know him.
Nick is amazing. Thanks for being here, Nick.
Thank you.
And you know Ken Walls too. So we're all kind of
Mhm.
connected. Nick, I know Nick through Ken Walls. And I
Oh,
know Ken
okay.
thinks so much of you and your husband. He's spoken very highly of you as well. And Lynn, of course, my producer, has had you on her show a couple of years ago. So I just feel really, really, really blessed to be around such an amazing core group of people and to learn from you guys. Eric says, phenomenal interview with two phenomenal ladies. God blessings to you both. Well, we're going to keep you around, Eric, with those nice comments. We're going to keep that up. No. But yeah, so the what if, stop doing the what ifs about what could go wrong and start doing what ifs of what could go amazingly right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. That may be for me. That may be
Maybe.
for me. Yeah, that maybe that is for me. Okay, here we go. See, I'm learning. Oh, Jen, you're good. Okay, so here we go with the question I ask every guest because the show is called Find It. So, what can you share with us that you have found in life that you can let us know what you have found so you can inspire us to find it too? You've told us a lot already.
I know. I was going to say,
You gave us all the goods.
uh, this is a great way to summarize where we went with this show. And it's really finding a way to wake up and live a life that you love every day. And it sounds so corny and so cliche, but the truth is so many people get comfortably uncomfortable. They get comfortable living in the uncomfortable and not being as happy as they get to be. And I want the world for every single person who is watching this show. And really for everyone, but especially if you're here, I want the world for you. And you get to wake up and live a life that you love every day. And that's what I have found. And I hope the same for you.
I know. And if you're just tuning in, because I saw a bunch of people pop on all at once, if you got to watch this whole thing about how she has shifted into this type of vibe by grounding and different mindset and learning and growing, because it is an amazing story. But let me ask you this. What do you tell people who have really had a lot thrown at them and they're going through some hardships? And I actually have some friends right now who are really on my heart and I've been praying for with sickness all around them and all of these things. So what advice would you give to us when things are really, some things are going kind of shitty? What advice would you give to them?
Well, that's part of life. And, that sounds shitty to say, but like life isn't all a bag of candy. I don't know what the actual saying is, but like there are ups and downs, and it's how you get through those ups and downs. It's your perspective and your intention of how you come out of it. When there's that saying, where you see like horse shit, there's always a pony. Right. You keep looking and you'll find the rainbow. And so I just think that sometimes we don't know why things are happening. We don't know why things feel like they're not going our way, but rejection is often God's way of protection. And we have to just trust and have faith that it's all working out in our favor. And when you believe that everything is genuinely working out in your favor, and like the sun will rise tomorrow, you believe it with that intensity of belief, it will work out in your favor.
I love that. And I also, I just have to reiterate what you've already said, which is if you get to have another day where you wake up, then wow, live it.
Yeah.
Live it and try to find the beauty in all of it. Do find the beauty in all of it.
That's right.
I love it. I love that. I don't know. I just think you need to be a regular on here.
This is
maybe
so
my
fun.
Therapist. I feel like it. Like I just feel really good. You guys, do you feel really good? I do. I feel like perspective and we know some of these things, but yet the way you worded it and the way you've implemented it, I mean, you got to listen to you. because you're doing it and you're living it, and you can take advice from someone who's learned it, lived it, and you're living proof. And so I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to have you on again and even just do a topic about whatever and us just.
I am all in. This has been so much fun. You are amazing. And thank you so much for having me here. And Lynn, thank you for that video.
Yes, it's amazing. So maybe we should show the video again as our outro, Lynn. Maybe we should show the video again because the people that weren't on in the beginning. Can you do that?
Oh my goodness.
Lynn, can you show her video again as the outro?
We can do whatever we want. We're going to do that right now.
All right, don't hang on just a second, Jen. We're going to we'll talk in the green room with Mints and Champs in just a minute. So thank you guys all for being here. If you didn't get to watch the full episode, please go back and watch it. It's so worth it. You're going to get so much out of it. No matter if you're a girl or a boy, you got to watch it. So I'll see y'all again next Wednesday, same time, different guest, and go find it, people. Go find it.
And Deb, I just want to attest that from 2 years ago, go look up Lynn and Jen at YouTube. She had tons of energy there, but her energy is louder with less words. And all I got to say is she's just, wow. I mean, she's just, we're all blessed that she's here.
Thank you.
So there's really a story with the way we did this video of her.
The video. It tells a little story through it. So
yeah. And so you'll notice there's Steve Rizzo and Debbie because she's been on that show. And then you'll see Lynn and Jen when I started. Well, I was already doing it for a year, but so here's 2 years later, over 2 years later, and it was a great interview. And she was growing and learning in that. She had some epiphanies on that interview. And just from those epiphanies you had there, I've seen how much you've grown. So
even in 2 years. So
yes.
Thank you.
And she's the most gracious guest I've ever had. I mean, you made me feel good when you were videoing to the audience on Instagram that you loved that we took an intro. And I'm honored to produce the show and that Debbie loves that too. So
I love it. In
honor of you, I agree that we're just going to play this and then we'll play our outro. But
here's her video, and this is amazing. It's been I love this show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you both.
Love you. Love.
That floats around me, keeping me